in episode 132.
I don't need to make like drastic modifications and stuff. And yeah,
Mhm.
it's kind of fun in that way. And you once you kind of figure out like the like, oh, what goes where, you can kind of like really, you find some really great outfits, and it's super fun. I think like one experience, I went to meet with this like one person who was a crossdresser but wasn't dressed, and I was just like, it felt a bit more impulsive than my usual.
I
Yeah,
would like to know more.
so
What?
it was brought to my place in two separate suitcases because it's so heavy.
Okay,
And it's like, I'll send you a photo of it later. But
please. Welcome to the CrossYaas Podcast, the podcast that still says yes to everything related to cross-dressing, sexuality, and gender. It's me, Giselle Mirasol. I cross-dress, I consider myself transgender, under the transgender umbrella, and I'll be your host and guide into this bizarre but lovely world of cross-dressing, sexuality, and gender. Still support the podcast by going to our website, www.crossyaaspodcast.com. Click on our Patreon links that we've got bonus stuff for you to enjoy, and you can even find some Q&As we did with today's guest, Claire, and previous other guests as well. You can chat with me, Sierra, Claire, and other wonderful members of the CrossYaas community on our CrossYaas confidential Discord, which is also available on our website for even more support. And finally, if you enjoyed Claire's story and have your own personal story that's cross-dressing, sexuality, and or gender related, but you're worried because you don't think anyone cares. You're probably wondering, does anyone really want to hear my story? Well, duh. You know me and you know the podcast. The answer is obviously a loud frickin'
Yes!
hit me up, Giselle at CrossYaasPodcast.com, DM me on Instagram at CrossYaas Podcast, or you can chat me up on Discord, Rochi_Mochi #7325. I can't wait to hear from you. Back again with part 2, you wonderful CrossYaas listener. If you listened to last week's YAAS Convo episode with Claire, in part 1, you've learned that Claire is a 31-year-old, non-binary, gender-fluid crossdresser who just moved to Portland, Oregon to explore more of her Claire self. She also just came out to her parents, her brother, which turned out overall okay, but luckily she's got such a great support system in her friends. In this episode, well, we dig a little deeper and find out more information about Claire and her sex life, her getting ready process, and what she wants to do with the future in Claire. I'll stop talking and just get the episode started. Here's part 2 of my CrossYaas conversation with Claire. Enjoy.
yeah, I think we're okay. Okay, we're good.
Is your washing machine ever going to be fixed? What's
I
happening
don't
there?
know. I mean, I don't know. I hope so
Ugh.
one day. It kind of sucks because I'm like, I gotta like clean a bunch of shit.
Speaking of cleaning up a bunch of shit, where do you do the most damage in the stores? Where does Claire do the most damage?
So my like routine, myself, like my treat show self routine is I will swing by a Target in a random
Mhm.
area, and try and find an Old Navy as well. And I will go to the clearance rack in Target to see what stuff they have on clearance. Looking for skirts mainly. Sometimes some cute tops might pop up that I might be into.
Mhm.
And then maybe a dress or two. Old Navy, holy shit. Girl, that
Right?
place is awesome. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
It's insane. I feel like half of the store is always on clearance. At least the one I went to recently. It was just like all
It is.
clearance. I'm like, where the fuck is like what? And the other, and I just kind of like, I just go in guy mode. I just browse the racks and stuff, and I'll just go try them on. Like, I've stopped caring about it.
Mhm.
And like, it's great. I mean, or was it like some of the cutest shit I get from not Target, but Old Navy for like $15 a dress, maybe
Mhm.
13, and they're
Mhm.
like really great dresses, and I'm like all about it. I mean, maybe I'll venture into pants and like all those things. I'll have to talk to Maddie about like hip pads and stuff, because
Ooh.
like the way I was shaped was from Florida. Florida is where I really honed my craft, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
And so I really opted for a lot more minimalist not minimalist per se, but like, how can I like really distill down my makeup routine? And also, how can I go out wearing clothes that aren't like, I have to wear a pair of tights over them and this and that. don't have to wear like a body shaper. I just want to like wear a dress, a something, and this and that, and like go out, because otherwise I'd be dying.
Did you own pads and stuff? Like, were you a shaper girl then too? Like,
I
spending some of that?
own pads, but I never
Mhm.
actually used. I've tried them on. I've worn them for like one or two photos, but that's about it. I don't incorporate them into my routine.
Okay. Same
I
with.
mean, I'm just a high waist. My secret is just dressing my flabby body. Like it's like not flabby, but I just so like my thing is like high waisted things, high waisted skirts. I think it's great because like you get something high waisted and flowy and it poops out just a tiny bit. You can be bloated as fuck and looking cute as hell. It's like a secret. It's like a fucking trade secret. Like once you realize your waist isn't where your hips are, like you just go a little higher, like because a female waist is usually a little higher.
Mhm.
It's a game changer, and like you find A-line clothes, like it just flatter your body, and you can just be like, wow, I just ate a bunch of like Korean barbecue, and I can still go out and like feel good.
Speaking of your waist, are you a tuck or no tuck kind of girl?
Depends. Not the
Hmm.
underpants.
Yeah, I was like,
Brand.
okay, so you're wearing
Yes.
depends.
Nothing wrong with
Perfect.
that either, but it depends. If I had to tuck one time. I generally don't tuck actually, just because the clothes that I'm wearing aren't super tight. When I was
Hmm.
wearing like shorts for that pedal pub, I wore like two pairs of underwear just to tuck it in a little bit better, and just because there might be like a little bit of a little outline there, but not so much a tucker. No, not so much.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
then, as far as boobs, do you wear
Yeah.
cutlets? Do you just wear pad your bras,
I'm just a
balloon?
cutlet gal. I've never advanced
Okay.
further on like a lot of those things. I mean, I don't know. Like when it comes to do I like I mean, I don't know. I've never been like I need big boobs. I'm just like, like a little petite kind of boobs that kind of fit my, add a little shape to my body. I'm about it because some people are all very focused on like having that like perfect proportions, but like
Hmm.
that's like based off of like some, what is it? What was that rap song where it was like 38, 24, 38 or something like that?
Yeah. Baby got back. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
And like, I don't know. I'm like, when it comes to like passing too, I think about this too. Like, women come in all different shapes and sizes. Like,
Hmm.
there's an ideal image from societal standpoints, but there's a lot of differently shaped women, as recent campaigns have you seen, like there's more body positivity. I think like, okay, well, I could have a swimmer's build, like more broad
Hmm.
shoulders, more narrower hips. So like just work with what I got and I can still look good and I don't need to make like drastic modifications and stuff. And yeah,
Hmm.
it's kind of fun in that way. And once you kind of figure out like the like, oh, what goes where, you can kind of like really you find some really great outfits and it's super fun.
It is. But the big one that we've mentioned and we've had hot topics on before are wigs. What
Yes.
is your take on wigs?
I am a believer in wigs, just in the sense, and I'm not anti wig or pro wig. I get it. I understand why people don't like them. I love wigs just because they bring about, I don't know, it like ties it all together.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's like makeup. You like makeup's kind of funny because like once you're done, you're like, wow. But in the in between periods, you kind of look like a ghost at some point. Like
Yeah.
when the liner's not on the eyes, you're like, I just look like all fucked up. But but like
Hmm.
once you like kind of finish it off, you're like, wow, it looks great. And you put the wig on, it's like you're locked in and you look so good. But I mean, you can, if you have like, I've like looked at myself without a wig too, and I'm like, it's kind of like a cool like, it's definitely like I could like definitely walk into a bar wearing like a full face of makeup and like have my hair like short and stuff, and that could look
Hmm.
cool too. But I think the wig just like adds another dimension, and I kind of like, and yeah, it's hot. It can get a little itchy, and I mean I have a big head, so like the wig barely fits on me too, like so like
Same.
it's
Me too.
yeah,
Hmm.
it's I don't even like hook it in the back. It's just like those little hooks towards the
Ugh,
back of
I
the
remember
head are
those.
just hanging
Yeah.
down the sides. I'm like, whatever, fuck it. But like I'll wear a wig just because I think it just brings the whole thing together. Who knows? I would love to like I would love to grow my hair out. I think when I first moved to Portland, I'm like, I'll grow out my hair. And then like the hottest heat wave ever hit Portland, 3 record-breaking temps in a row.
Yeah, what
And
the
I was
fuck?
like,
Jeez.
fuck this, cut my hair off. It's so hot. Like, no, thank you. So, I mean, I would like to. I've thought about it. It's just getting past that, like, those hot, awkward phases, like hot, heat hot, not like sexy hot. I don't know. Maybe to the beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So who knows?
This is true. Do you have to pee yet? I was wondering if you
No,
had to pee
I'm
yet.
actually doing pretty good.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All that coffee and still going. Well done. Where
If
do I
you
want
want
to
to
go
take a
next?
break, I could take a break too. I mean,
Oh no, you're good.
Okay.
I don't know if I should wrap it up soon because I don't know.
No worries.
Keep taking up your time. Well, no, won't go there. I was like, well, I don't know if you want to go there. Do you want to talk at all about your sexual experiences as
Let's see.
That's what brings the boys
yeah. Oh
is the
gosh.
milkshakes.
I mean, I could talk about something kind of funny.
Ooh, let's do it. Get there.
Oh gosh, this
We're
is like
excited for it.
this is a hot out the doors kind of one.
Ooh,
but
yes.
This one, I mean, I won't say the time frame or anything like that, but
Well, let me ask you this: how many partners have you had, Claire? Let's start there. Let's
not answer that one. I mean, I'm curious to ask the chat that so I can like get a more grounded answer.
Oh, freaking! What's her name? Maddie said she had 40. I was like, 40?
40?
That's what I said. I was like, well, that's amazing.
Shit. Okay, well, that makes me feel a lot better.
Yeah, I was like,
I don't know, maybe like 20, 30? I don't know. I've never really, I thought about it like maybe a couple months ago. And I'm like, is it a lot? I don't know. But, I mean, I'll meet with people dressed, and it's very like, it's very like, not business. I mean, I get to know them, try to understand them from, where they're at and like make sure they're not like, how do I describe it? In a place that might endanger myself or, that type of stuff. You kind of do a little bit of a screen to get that they're not going to kill me or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so I've met with some people and, it's all been very cool. I've always learned something new from each experience. Were there bad ones? Maybe a handful of them. Were there like good ones? There's a lot of great ones, were there neutral ones? Yeah. Sure.
What distinguishes a good versus a bad?
Yeah.
Neutral. Like what does that mean to you? Because someone's like, that was a bad experience.
Oh yeah. I think like one experience, I went to meet with this like one person who was a crossdresser but wasn't dressed, and I was just like, it felt a bit more impulsive than my usual, and I went to their place and. I don't know, it was like really dirty. It wasn't like kind of dirty. It was like really dirty. There was like a dead roach on the floor.
Okay.
Yeah. It like skeeved me out. And like, I don't know. I hung out for a bit and like, I don't know. We did some stuff and I left there. Like, I don't know. I just felt awkward saying like getting there and then leaving. But like my therapist is like, you don't owe these people anything. You can literally just be like, if you're uncomfortable, just say no and leave. And I'm like, you're right. Exactly. You don't owe anyone anything.
Before you leave, what does we did some stuff mean? Because that's very, it's very vague.
Oh, I mean, this might be, we like fooled around and stuff, but I think for me, it wasn't the comfort. It was sort of like me not being attracted to the masculine image and stuff. And I think it was more the environment that kind of threw me off of like it being like so dirty and I don't know. She was really nice, and I was just sort of like, this place is very like I can be pretty dirty too, but this was like another level, and I don't know. There was like a level of like there's some like masculine pride in there from the person that I was like going to see. And it kind of like threw me off of like, like I got promoted and I'm making more money. And I'm like, that's fine. But like that doesn't change my perception of you. Like, we don't need to talk about any of that. Like I'm here already. You don't have to like try and impress me. Please don't. And it's interesting getting that sort of perspective, the feminine perspective of like, I'm already here. Like, you don't have to try and impress me anymore. Maybe like not have a dead roach on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't stop me. I mean, I'm fine. Detroit microphone. So
this is the hoarders one, or the person who gave the dress, yeah.
Oof.
I'll share one. I was with this one
yes.
girl. She was really nice. but it was just one of those like moments of like, I don't know if it's a good fit type of thing in terms of like personality. And she she had a sex machine.
What?
And yeah,
What is it? Explain first of all. What?
it's like a uh, it's like a hydraulic type machine. I don't know. It's just like this thing that pokes forward at variable speeds, and it's like a big fucking setup. And I was like, let's try it out. That sounds kind of fun. I mean, I've never done that. Yeah, just don't kill me with it. That would suck. I don't want that in my obituary.
Killed by
But
sex machine. Yes.
exactly, that would be such a like hard way to like, yeah, I'll be known as killed by sex machine person. And so she came over, we hung out, she was cool, but like, small little things that just made me be like, oh, I don't know if it's like a good fit in terms of personality. And it was fine. There's some mutual stuff, mutual play. We both had like like what was it? Like this, we had, we exchanged with like strap on and stuff just to like have fun with it and take the pressure off in some regards too. And there was just like a moment where I was talking to her, and I don't know, she's just like, oh, I don't know, it's getting late, maybe I should call off of work tomorrow. I'm not like a workaholic, but I don't call off of work. Like, I will go to work even if I'm dead. But like, I mean, I feel like I have pretty good work ethic in that regards. And I don't know their situation. They could have had a lot of reasons for it, but I don't know. They called off of work in front of me, but it was weird because they were kind of like doing they're faking the sick voice. They're like, oh, I can't come in because I ate something. And I don't know, it felt weird. And then after that, they gave me like an okay sign, like, yeah, I got it. Like, I don't know. It just like to me,
Okay.
it felt immature, I guess, like, I don't know. It's just that kind of like turned me off a little bit, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And so I was like, yeah, it's fine. It's all good. I actually told that story to my friend, and this at the time I was just like sitting there and stuff, but like my friend and I always have these, we just always like look at the humor in situations, and he's like, I'm just imagining you like being railed by this fuck machine on the floor while this person calls in, and you're sitting there just getting pounded by this like metal fucking jousting pole, and you're judging them. You're just sitting there like, ugh, just judging them as you're just getting railed. I'm like, oh my god, that wasn't the case, but it would make like for a good that would make for a good sitcom. Just like a moment of like, you are judging them, but like, should you be judging them? So I mean, but she was really nice, she was sweet, but it just wasn't a good fit in that regards. But I got to try something new. That was kind of fun.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. Like, yeah, I could see her on top.
Big reveal for like a first episode, so
It's not that. I mean, one of my first episodes. Well, no, it's not that bad. We've all had our sexual experiences.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. To me, it's more humorous than anything, because like that's a lot of work to buy it. Like, it was fun, but like it wasn't fun enough for me to be like, I gotta go get one.
Okay, so explain more of this machine. Like, what did you do with it? Was it she being real? Like, what?
Yeah,
I would like to know more.
So it was brought to my place in 2 separate suitcases because it's so heavy.
Okay.
And it's like, I'll send you a photo of it later. But
Please.
It's like this like metal stand, and it's got like on these 2 metal legs like that have you can like angle it up or down, so you can like adjust the angle on these legs. It has like this like mechanical device that basically, I mean, I'm not an engineer, but like it just pushes it forward and pulls it back, pushes it forward, pulls it back at different speeds. So there was like a little knob, and so you kind of like I mean, what happened was they were just showing me the device, and I fell over, and I happened to land on it, and it was like, oh no, I don't hate it. No. But yeah, you go in front of it,
Okay.
like on your fours, and you like guide it in, and then you start slow, and you you kind of like ramp it up, and I'm like, okay, just don't kill me. It takes a lot of trust to use one of those, but
Okay.
it was fun. It was an experience. I don't, like I said, it wasn't enough for me to be like, I need to do that again. But it was really cool. It was neat.
Right. So she was using it on you, is what we're
Yes.
saying.
Yes.
And you were on your fours, and you were like, "Oh, this is cool.
This is cool.
Yeah.
I like this." I mean, I'm not afraid to admit that. Like, yeah, I liked it. It was fun.
That's cool. That's awesome. So you're a big anal play fan then?
Yeah. I definitely enjoy it. It's good time. It's something I haven't really introduced into a lot of my relationships. So like being able to say that is kind of like, whoa. But I mean, I think even today's modern man, might enjoy a little bit of like anal play to a certain degree too. So, I mean, it's just, you just got to be hygienic about it and cautious about it. You don't want to give yourself any tears, roids, all that kind of stuff. So hemorrhoids, not steroids.
Yeah, I was like, what are you putting up there?
Actually, you would put some steroids on inflamed hemorrhoids. Just throwing that out there.
There you go. Using that medical degree of yours. Yeah. Incorporating it somehow.
Yeah.
Are you I guess willing to divulge that you've had like sexual relationships with men? Or,
I mean, technically, from a technical sense, yes.
Okay.
Have I actively sought out like a masculine man? Actually, no.
Okay.
Yeah. Everyone to some degree has been, like maybe a crossdresser, who I was, how do I describe it? That, I hung out with, and then maybe one time they came, like there was someone that was a crossdresser. They came over later, and they weren't dressed at times, but I didn't really. I mean, they were like dressed as a guy, but like, they had a lot of features that I found attractive about them in terms of like, they were more soft, they had longer hair, but they're also like they were very caring and like really sweet, and I thought that was like kind of nice. And that, I do find that like trait of like attractive, like caring, empathetic, sweet people. Like, I'm like, okay, I could like, that's something I could see being like, that's an attractive trait. And oftentimes not most, but like guys don't often lead with that type of level of stuff because I mean, I don't know, society is like, if you're super nice up front, maybe they're quote unquote nice guys, and quote, the negative connotation of nice guys. But I don't know, but they were really nice, and after a while I was like, I could see myself being in that like position. I wasn't not attracted to them, but I don't think it was the masculine aspect of them that was attractive to me.
Right. I don't know if maybe it's just me. I think Ryan talked a little bit about it, or somebody talked about it.
Yeah.
Where when I'm dressed, I am more inclined, or not more than likely, but I have this like need, or it's more appealing to me to want to satisfy a man.
Okay.
But not as much. It used to be there, not as much. Now I'm just like, nah. But I don't know if that's the same for you. Is that true?
I could see that. I mean, I could understand that, and I could definitely like actually kind of agree with that in a lot of ways too, because it almost like makes you feel more feminine.
Yeah, and it keeps the illusion, I guess, too.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I actually, it's funny that you mentioned that, because I lived in Australia for a couple months. It was for study abroad in college, and I remember going over. I actually learned a lot in Australia, and that's kind of like right after Australia is when I like started like being like, I'm gonna get better at makeup and this and that. But like Australia's got a really big LGBT scene there, and I didn't like fully dive into it, but I remember like one of the nights I was out drinking and stuff, I was at the bus stop in front of this place called the Midnight Shaft, and it was just this gay bar, and I met this dude who was like I told him my story and how I dressed, and I just felt more comfortable that he wouldn't be judgy, because it's such an open, like very accepting space. And he's like, oh yeah, come on in for a drink and stuff. And I wouldn't say maybe that was my first time in a gay bar, but I mean, I didn't have that level of masculinity of like, oh, don't look at me, bro, like like
Yeah.
what are you trying to say? Like, no, it wasn't like that. I was just like, they're cool and they think I'm cool, and I respect that. And him and I, we're still really good friends, and we keep in touch. And he kind of showed me around like the gay bar, and that's when I learned. I mean, I don't think it's in every gay bar type thing, but over there at least they had like shirtless o'clock is what I like to call it, where all the dudes would take off their shirts, and like I met some of those friends who are like, oh yeah, I lost my shirt here last time. I'm like, that happens? Like what? And like, I mean, but through that I've met like other cross dressers in Australia and stuff. And I remember talking to them one about being with like a guy, and they were saying like, yeah, like I've been with men before, it makes you feel like way more feminine, but I'm not really attracted to guys. And I'm like, yeah, I could see that too. And I mean, have I thought about like testing that out for a bit? Yeah, absolutely. It seems more scary though, because I feel like being with a guy, there's a level that of understanding that they may not understand, and that like kind of makes me concerned about my safety in some ways. Not trying to say all guys are like creeps or anything, but or predators, but like it's there's a level of vulnerability that you kind of have to accept, I feel like, to do that kind of thing. And like I don't think my own sort of like urges have pushed me in that direction yet. I'm curious to try it, I'm open to it. I'm not going to say I'll never do it, but it's definitely like it's like a new step for me,
You've made many steps, it sounds like.
I mean, it's all baby steps. To get to where I am today took a lot of work and a lot of like going against the grain. And any girls that I talk to now, I'm like, who have questions or concerns about that or anything like that, I'm like, hey, you should really try and tackle this. Obviously take it at your own pace. Everyone's journey is different. Just because you're here or there doesn't mean you're not valid. I mean, it's just, you have to recognize that it's there and recognize that you have to figure that out.
Very true. Very true. Is there, since you've gotten to this point in your life, are there any regrets that you've had in your life, or anything you would wish you'd done differently?
I mean, I would say like, I mean, obviously the biggest regrets are just like, I kind of wish I found this sooner, that'd be fucking cool just to be like, comfortable with myself at an earlier age. That would be really nice. Do I sit where I am today and have regrets like that? Not necessarily. I'm very happy for how far I've come. And I mean, maybe if things were different, I may not be where I am today too. Not in like a life thing, but like as in like as far as I don't know if I would have come as far as I have come at this point. Like I'm very happy with the progress I've made, and the understanding of myself that I've made to get to where I am today. So I don't really have huge regrets, but something is like always like, why couldn't it I wish it happened sooner, but to get to where I am took a lot of work. So
And where do you see yourself as Claire in like 5 to 10 years? What do you want to do with Claire in the future?
We'll see. I mean, right now I'm just kind of, I'm just exploring more of like, my Claire side and incorporating elements of it into just my guy side, in the sense of like just being more open and honest about it, and, being able to talk about makeup, clothes, whatever, while dressed as a guy, and not, or even hang out with other people as a guy while they're dressed and not feel like uncomfortable about it. When I say uncomfortable, it's more of like myself not feeling comfortable, like because I want to like match the other person, versus like, oh, I'm seen out with a person who is, wearing clothes that aren't for their assigned birth gender. I don't give a shit about that. Like I will like jump to their defense if someone tries to like anything with them. But like for me, it's more on my own side of like, oh, I wish I was dressed too, but that's fine, and like putting myself out there in those scenarios, like seeing how I navigate it, because it is like showing a new, it's a small level of vulnerability of like being able to just present your guy side to someone who only knows your female side. It's like it's like a reverse problem.
Yeah, you have a lot of those.
yeah So it's who knows what the future holds. Well, maybe I'll be Claire full time, maybe I won't, I don't know, maybe I'll just be a mixture of both all the time, and that's fine too. It's just kind of figuring out what it means.
True. Yeah, I mean, your progress so far, you've moved. Sorry, Kirsten's making beans.
I'm
like, okay. We'll wait for the beans to be grinded. Hold on.
It's okay. They sound good.
We bought a grinder.
Oh.
Speaking of grinder, just kidding.
I mean, hey, honestly, Grindr's good to find other cross-dressers.
Wait, have you found other cross-dressers via
Tons?
Grinder? Oh,
Tons. FetLife, I
explain.
feel like, is kind of slow. Grindr is a bit of, if you're able to ignore 99% of the messages you receive, then you'll probably be good. Because I don't engage with anyone that I don't want to talk to at all. And so my method of using Grindr is just trying to find other gals in the area, local, whether this or here or there, and just like, being like, hey, what's up? I want to make friends, And I mean, I've had pretty good success with it, actually. You just have to talk to them for a bit and kind of see if they're trying to have sex with you or they're cool with being friends. Like, because sometimes there is a part of a conversation where I'm talking to them like, okay, so like, what brings you on this app? Like, why are you here? What are your goals? And then they'll say like, oh, I'm here to find a girlfriend, or I'm here to friends with benefits, or just friends. And I'm like, okay, if you want to just be friends, that's cool too. If you want to be friends with benefits, that's cool too. We can try it out, but like, you have to kind of figure out what their motive is. Because if you're like, oh, let's hang out, and they're like, oh yeah, can't wait, and like, I don't know, you get that vibe. Maybe you're like, I don't think they get the right idea here.
Wait, so Grindr's not just honestly, I just thought it was just an app for gay men, but it's more than that.
No, they have a whole like looking. So let me pull mine up here. They have like a whole thing on there for like trans. They have a whole trans thing on there, and it's like they have filters of age, looking for, and in the looking for sections you have chats, dates, friends, networking, right now, relationship, non-specified, and then you have tribes, and they have like a ton of tribes like bear, daddy, discreet, geek, but then trans is in one of them.
Oh. Huh.
Mm-hmm. It's actually really good to find like local gals. Like that's how I found a lot of like local gals back in Florida. I think FetLife is fine. It can be slow at times though, but Grindr, like you can talk and you can meet and you have a good discussion then and there. And sometimes it dips into something else, like the horny territory, but like it depends on what you want from it.
Didn't even know. I immediately assumed it was just a fucking app. Like it wasn't even a dating app. You would just really that was the I guess the connotation that I always heard when I heard with Grindr, because my gay friends would use it. My gay male friends would always.
Oh yeah,
but I didn't respond to it. Mm-hmm.
It's interesting, but I'd say, I think it's pretty good because maybe you'll meet some people at their horniest, but like also if you want to be like friends with them and they're open and receptive to that, I've surprisingly like made a lot of like random friends off of Grindr that have like given me like suggestions of places to go around here. That's how I found like this really hot, like the cool EDM scene in Portland, because like I like that kind of music, and this person's like, oh, you got to go here, follow this person, this is my fucking passion, I love this stuff. And I'm like, oh shit. Like, and then I went to like a freaking EDM show in the middle of the woods on like a Wednesday night. I'm like, what the fuck, this is cool. And so you find like little things, and as long as you're approachable and you ignore 99% of the messages on Grindr, because you're oftentimes greeted with phallic images, or you just don't respond, and you get some people like messaging you every day like, hey, how are you, hi, what are you doing today, how are you today? I'm like, just like, I'm good, we don't I just don't respond to those, and you kind of see the ugly side of like horny masculinity, which is like, oh, hi, hey, am I not good enough for you? Fuck
nice
you
guys.
Anyways. Like, oh nice God, guys. It's the worst. It's like, I haven't even responded. What if I was just not at my phone and you're like just shooting yourself in the own foot? Like, that's not good. Those people scare me the most, because it's like they're blaming me for literally nothing.
Yeah, their own insecurities. Yeah,
like I don't. The thing is, like, I don't owe it. I don't owe anyone a response. I'm just there to do my thing and like mind my own business. Like, I'm not there to entertain someone's desires or anything. I'm just there to find my figure out my stuff out and meet some people who are cool and not not looking at me like a piece of meat. I mean, some people can, but like a piece of meat with character.
Oh yeah, everyone loves pieces of meat with character. Yeah,
with a personality.
Do you like being objectified in a way when you're
not
okay.
I mean, I don't know. No, not so much like no. I mean, I definitely think I'm like I definitely think I'm like a little hottie, and I think I'm like
Yes.
attractive, and I mean, I think a compliment is nice, but like I don't vie for that, you know. I don't like to be
Hmm.
objectified per se, because I mean, I don't know, I don't like that. I mean, some people do love it, good for
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Maybe a year from now we'll be having a conversation. Maybe I will. I'm not. It's something like I haven't really thought through, but I guess it may depend on like the level of
Same,
objectification.
same. That's what I was gonna say. Yes, the level
Yeah.
is important.
Once it's like you're stupid, I'm like I don't like that. I'm
Yeah,
not
that's not fun.
stupid.
Yeah,
Like I'm not stupid. I don't think so, at least. But you know what I'm saying? Like when sometimes some people like that too, and that's cool. But I think that it's a spectrum.
yeah. The lowest level is it's kind of it's very sexist. But the lowest
Yeah.
level
Oh
of
yeah.
just being like, oh, she's like not a dumb bitch, but like just when we talk about bitch, we were talking about it
Yeah.
earlier. Like
Yeah.
bitch,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
there's a little bit of that I'm like, yes, like I kind of,
Yeah.
it's not respecting,
Absolutely.
but it's just like, yes, I like that dumb
I can
hoe.
see
I'm
that.
like,
It's sort of like it's definitely like escapism to a certain degree, and a little bit of role play, and
yes, role
sort of
play,
like
yes,
it's
yes,
fun. It can be fun in that regards too. It just depends on like the level of it. Because I mean, I've gotten some that are like, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but like, some people are like they just start off way too strong, of just like come. I don't know. You just see like we'll post some stuff like just like what the heck are these people trying to say? Like they're asking for way too much, and it might work for some people. Shoot your shot. I respect that. But
yeah,
sometimes, I'm just not looking for that. And I have it in my profile. I'm like not looking for that.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
and that type of stuff, I need trust. I have to know the person first before they can just like throw that kind of shit out to me. At least for me, I'm just extra cautious about that type of
mm,
stuff. If
mm.
someone comes out the gates swinging with your stupid little whatever,
You stupid dumb cunt, and you're like, excuse
yeah,
me.
I'm like, oh, no, that's not what I'm going for. I want to like talk to you, get to know you a little bit, understand what brought you here. Like, I basically have my own like private CrossYaas discussion with a person before I like think about doing anything with them, just to kind of get to know them a bit.
Yes, very important,
Yeah,
very important. Oh, I
of
love that.
course, safety's first.
Yeah, safety is so important. You talked a little bit about the EDM scene. Have you ever gone to like an EDM like event or whatever dressed up as Claire?
No, you did though.
Yes, that's why I'm
I
surprised you
was
didn't.
I never was fully out by that time, like I was
Ugh.
kind of hidden. I would love to go dressed now. Like festival makeup is so fun.
Yes.
And like holy shit. Like I think one of the last festivals I went to before COVID hit, it was in Florida. It was Halloween. And
Ooh.
yeah, it was really fun. It was during Halloween. I didn't dress up. We'll get on this cross-dresser Halloween thing in a minute too, but
Yes, we will.
um
Yes.
I remember being there, and I wasn't really out to my friends at the time, so like I wasn't really. I wanted to. It would have been really cool. That's like another thing. But I remember meeting this crossdresser there, and like we were just kind of chatting and stuff, and they looked great, and they were just like casually wearing some like mermaid leggings, and they had like long hair, and they were killing it, and I was like, I really wanted to like it's like you want to like be like hell yeah girl, but at the same time I don't know, at that time I was like I don't know, I don't want to like bother them or like feel like I've outed them, or I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, I was just
Mm-hmm.
being like respectful and stuff, but like she looked so good and I was like hell yeah, you're doing great, and like it was like nice to see that, and like and surprisingly enough, at least from my understanding, music festivals seem to be like very accepting crowds,
A
because
hundred percent. Yes.
like they just don't care, because like they are like one thing is like if you're on illicit drugs, um
Which
you know
it's fun
I've
too.
never
So.
done. I've
Oh.
never done.
Ah. Sorry. I'll shut up.
uh People, from what I've heard, people are like, oh my god, what if I'm like the most fucked up, and then you look around, you're like, oh, everybody's fucked up.
Everyone's fucked up. Ugh.
Everybody's
Ugh.
fucked up. No one cares. Like the
Okay.
last thought of someone's mind is like, "Whoa, what's that dude over there wearing a?" Like they do not give up. Maybe
They
if
don't
you're at
care.
like a country music
They
festival,
don't
but
care.
like electronic ones, everyone's just there to like have a fucking good time, and everyone's super supportive. Like people pass out from like doing too many drugs or overheating, and like
Yes.
immediately are met with like people being like, call the EMTs, and like,
Yes.
like there's so much support. Like it's so cool, and like, so I mean, from my understanding, as just going as like a guy, it's a very strong culture of support. Now if I did go, would I be able to wear a wig all day? I
Oh,
don't
no.
know.
I mean, you
But
could, but
like,
fuck, it's hot.
but that highlighter though is gonna catch that sun. You're gonna look so
Yes.
fresh and juicy. You look good,
Yes.
like. But yeah, I mean, I would love to go to a festival dress. That would be such a fun time.
Ugh, sorry. I'll save my whole EDC episode for a future thing, but
Cool. Okay.
one of my favorite things ever. I dressed as Cheshire Cat. My whole outfit. Oh, so fucking fun! I got so many compliments. They're like, "Oh my god!" I got like 4 photos from people. Everyone's so supportive. I was like, "What is this? Where am I? Why I'm not here all the time?" And then COVID hit, and it's like, sucks.
I know.
But you talk more about. Let's talk more about crossdresser Halloween. So have you done?
Yes.
Have you dressed up for Halloween?
So I've only done it once.
Boring.
I in the past, I've always known, like, I even like knowing, like, when I didn't dress, I always knew that Halloween was like the crossdresser's holiday, and every time that time came around, I always wanted to dress up as something. But I wasn't out at the time, and there's a lot of shame, and so I didn't do it. But I would dress up as something else, and I like the idea of dressing up for something, and like an event. It's like super exciting, the planning involved, like, ooh, if we're gonna have like this type of event, what should I wear, this and that. Even for Halloween, I'm like, okay, what should I wear for Halloween? And sometimes I went as like this or that, and I had some kind of inventive costumes and stuff. But like, I never went out because my biggest, and this was like all based in paranoia and fear, was like, I feel like if I did it, and it might be like sounding like kind of pretentious, but I feel like I would be too good, and people would be like questioning it and being like, yo, why the fuck you look so good? Where'd you learn this? And I didn't have like a significant other at the time to be like, oh, she did it. I didn't have like a fallback. My assumption was people would interrogate me at every corner. But I mean, actually, this last Halloween, COVID, I had a small murder mystery party. We like all tested before it, made sure everyone was COVID negative and all that good stuff. And like, I went and dressed as a little witchy hoe kind of thing. It was cute. I got to wear black lipstick. I wore a little witch hat. It was fun. And that's like kind of like the basic thing. But I definitely have like bigger plans this year. Which when I say that, I have no actual plans, but I plan on dressing up for something.
Yes.
As someone or something. So, as a pretty hot, a little hottie at least, baseline.
Be the hoe again.
So
I love
exactly. I could be a little witchy hoe. I could be, I don't know. I mean, I could be a lot of different things. There's the world's my oyster, and I get to kind of explore it and have fun with it. So I don't know. I don't know exactly what I'll end up doing, but I definitely want to dress up as some kind of pretty lady. Dress up as Claire.
And Halloween this year falls on it's a Monday or something stupid.
Oh fuck.
It's something.
Well, then you just do it before.
It falls on a.
Isn't the rule of thumb for Halloween like
Sunday.
Dress up before Halloween, and after Halloween you don't dress up?
Yes, or dress up all the time, like you.
Exactly. I mean, isn't that just called cosplay?
Yes, exactly. And I've done that too. Have you cosplayed before or not yet? Because you.
No, I've not. I mean, what defines cosplay? Like, dressing as a character specifically?
I think that's
for like
typically what it is. I usually was anime related, but then it doesn't have to be, because then you can dress as like a costume for anything. I don't know.
I think I was thinking actually about like cool Halloween outfits. I think one of them was I wanted to dress up as the main character from Midsommar, just because it's like a very pretty dress, and like you get to wear a flower crown, and
Coachella vibes. Yeah,
like that's kind of cool. Yeah, that's fun. It's like a very pretty movie, as fucked up and terrifying as it is. But I don't know. I thought that was like, and it's like horror, but like cute. I was like, I could do that. Or I don't know. When I was younger, I really, I watched Sailor Moon, and I think I always resonated with like the tomboyish characters. I like Sailor Jupiter, like the one with the green one. She was just so cool. I just liked her. Same with like Buttercup from Powerpuff
Oh,
Girls. Like,
yeah.
I definitely was like, I like Buttercup. She's like more my vibe, even though the way I dress now gives me Bubbles
Yeah, a
vibes,
little
you
bit
know?
Bubbles. Yeah.
I look like Bubbles, but I feel like Buttercup.
Okay. All
So
right. Okay. Did you have a lot of well, I was gonna say you had your role models, but like, did you ever want to be
Mhm.
a character like on TV or a video game
um,
character or anything like that?
n- I mean, hey, if we want to delve into like media, I can talk about
Yes.
this for a bit
Who would
too.
you want to be?
Like, I think my first exposure to like something that was like, ooh, if I could do that, that would be cool. Was what the heck was it? Ranma One Half.
Oh yeah, Ranma.
You ever watch
Yes.
that?
Old
Hmm.
Asian
The person who
anime.
gets
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, where they was it like is it cold water they turn into a girl, hot water they turn back into a boy?
Something like that. And then if was his the person turned into a panda? I forget. It's been a while.
Oh shit, I forgot about that whole thing. I just remember that part. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, that would be cool, thinking about that. And like I remember that was like really cool. And there's a lot of stuff through media, like all the Moris of are the boy or
Hmm.
girl? Those were like exciting to
Yep.
watch. Um and it was great because hearing your like cross-dressing and popular culture episode was really cool because I'm like, oh my god, it brought back so many memories of like what was it the movie with he's the woman or that VH1 show or
Oh, it
something.
was a TBS show. That was he's the man or she's the
Oh,
man.
she's
Yeah.
the man because I was okay. It was She's the Man. I was confusing it with Amanda
Hmm.
Bynes' movie She's the
Hmm.
Man. That was an awesome show, and I got like super excited for that. Even I had to download that online because I never had cable, so I had to like torrent
Nice.
it and like find it. And I love those. I love those shows. Even though they were like, I mean, they were exposure for the time. I think they did some positive things of just bringing it
Exactly.
out there. And Drew Carey show
Amy?
with
Oh, and
that
his
one
brother
guy.
that was a crossdresser. Hmm.
Yes, yeah, and it was just so casual, and that was sort of like my first like time seeing like, oh, he's dressed up, but like, or I don't know, he, she. I don't know if they did really delved into pronouns per se, but they were dressed up, and it was literally nothing
Yeah.
changed.
Yeah.
It was just normal, and I'm like, that's so cool. Like, I want that. I want to be able to like dress up and not feel weird about it. And I mean, I'm kind of living that life at
Yeah.
this time, which is like
Yeah.
super exciting. And it's just nice. That's what I hoped to achieve. That was my goal. I mean, if you talk to me, like if you showed me a snapshot of my life now to me like even 5 years ago, I wouldn't fucking believe it.
Why not? Why not though?
I'd be like, yeah, right, exactly. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in media.
Yeah. And do you think? I mean, are you hopeful for a future because of how kids are today versus how we were like 20 years ago?
I
Yeah.
am.
Why?
Oh, hell yes. Oh, yes. So much more. There's a lot of shit going on, but like the discussions, at least there's a discussion being had, and I can definitely tell there's like a generational shift on people not giving a shit about people's genders. I feel like kids these days are much more like. I mean, I've heard from a lot of your episodes, people who have, people who are parents who have children, and their children are always like, I mean, is that a guy? Like, why would you call them a
Yeah.
guy?
Yeah.
I mean, I still use guy as a
Same.
colloquialism, and so it's I think things are headed in the right direction because I mean if you talked to me 10 years ago I literally like I remember in middle school I had a thought of like I hope like one day I'll be able to like not feel so shitty about being a crossdresser or something or like wearing women's clothes or something like it used to be like a huge shame thing and I was like I hope that one day I could do that and then like the whole you know little snippets of transgender media popped up like Trans
Oh
America
yeah,
came
that's right.
out
Yeah.
and like yeah and then and I kind of like delved on into the internet and I'm like okay and like things became more and more prevalent it became more like more like well there's more exposure of it in media and I know it always existed for like a long time but when you live as when you're a kid there's not the only media you find really is what is given to you or what plays on the television and maybe when the internet came out you can kind of find some stuff but like other than that it's like it's not discussed about widely
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
actually I did My dad worked in Thailand
Oh,
for a little bit, and so I got to go visit him. And I was like, that's when I experienced this is the Thailand's term, ladyboy culture. I don't know if it's like PC,
mhm.
I don't know, but that's what they called them there per se, but just trans women. And that was sort of like eye opening for me of like, that's cool. Like, I mean, it's not cool that they have to force resort to sex work and all that stuff. Like, that's not very chill, but it's just interesting to see a culture where that
Mhm.
exists of like, just where it's like not like frowned upon or demonized or this and or that. And I thought that was like really cool. And like it sort of opened my perspective up a little bit as well, just like the little small things. And then after like college or anywhere I visited, I kind of try and seek out people who had similar understanding and just try to get to know people and learn their story and expand my understanding of it and how other people go about it as
Yeah,
well.
and look at you now. You're doing amazing
Yeah.
things.
Yay. Yeah. Pat
Yes,
on the
yes.
back.
I mean, I'm proud of you. I mean, you've moved everywhere. I swear you lived on we've gone through every continent and you've lived there somehow, or you've,
It feels like
and you are a traveling woman. Yeah, I'm just so excited. I'm excited that you're part of this community. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about just the podcast Discord. I mean, you've done a lot. I don't
Yeah. The Discord's fucking awesome. Everyone on there is great. It's given me like a lot it's given me an outlet too. Like, to be like, oh shit, like I want to discuss something. I want to discuss makeup. I want to discuss something else, this or that. There's a place to discuss it, There's a lot of there's tons of support. Like, us gals, we might just like we'll chat about fun stuff, stupid stuff, silly stuff, here and there, but like when there's like a need for
know. Hmm.
support, we're all fucking there. We're gonna like when it's like when you need support, we'll be there. Like we'll be there to talk to you. People have been really, really wonderful that I've met on this Discord, and it's definitely, I mean, your podcast. I have to like applaud you because your podcast has given me a shitload of confidence in terms of like being comfortable with myself, being comfortable putting myself out there. And my mind's always like, how bad could it be? And then it usually isn't that
Yeah.
bad. Usually, obviously, if you're like near like the KKK headquarters or something, maybe don't go out, presenting differently or something. Safety might be more of a concern, like the Midwest or the South, that area. Those areas I could understand being like more closeted and stuff, but Northwest California, from what I've seen, it's pretty fucking cool. And I mean, I know there's like violence against trans women
Hmm.
like all over the United States. Just safety should always be like in the back of your head, but more often times than not, you won't get like assaulted. But be like a little bit mentally prepared for it, but you'd be surprised if you just put yourself out there a little bit more, is what I say.
And shit, you didn't even need our confidence, girl. You were already out. Yeah, you were doing great. And we saw your
Thank you.
photos. We're like, oh, another cis woman's back. Like what is-
Born, AFAB, assigned female at
yeah.
birth, cis het woman, just here to. Are you the wife of someone who dresses? No, I just hacked my way into the group.
Well, we welcome it, and thank you. I always end my interviews in with the question of, in a perfect world of cross-dressing, sexuality, and gender, what does that look like to you?
Yeah. So for me, I would say a perfect world would be somewhere where people can just kind of express themselves however they feel comfortable with expressing themselves and not having people judge that and not having people, demonize people's choices of self-expression, gender expression, this or that. I think that would be the best kind of world to live in. Just, does this person want to wear a dress and paint their nails? Cool. I respect it. Like, I don't have to sit there thinking, like, but like, how do they do it? Like, no, like, just like a perfect world is like, that's cool. I love it. You do you, and I respect it, and I'm happy for you. Like that kind of stuff. I just don't want people. I think the perfect world would be where like we've moved past like, oh, a man is wearing pink, or you know like, oh, this
Hmm.
person, a person who is assigned male at birth, is like, exploring their gender. Like, I think maybe in some ways, like this younger generation is kind of already embodying that. I don't know exactly. I don't have kids per se, but from what I've heard from people, that seems to be the case. So like that's exciting to me. So
Yes, yes. Are you public on Instagram? Do you want to give any shout out to your handles or where people can follow you or listen to you?
Oh yeah. I made an Instagram. It is Claire CALAIRE .connected, and that's my Instagram handle. I just made it. I have like a couple photos, and come like my shit. Maybe I'll just open the floodgates and make it public. I don't know. It'll be fine. My brain will say there's going to be some crazy consequences, but reality is like it's most likely going to be fine. So
Girl, thank you so
take
much. We'll
care.
have you on
Bye.
again. I love you, girl. Love you. Love you so much. Bye. And finally, the miscellany.
Yes!
And that was part 2 and the conclusion of my Curi YAAS convo with Claire. I loved how open Claire was with me, and I had so much fun, and I'm just so thankful she came onto the podcast to tell her story and basically everything. I love that she opened up about her sex partners, what she likes to wear, and shoot, even that sex machine story, which, by the way, one of the funniest things I ever heard. Can you imagine being railed by a literal sex machine while someone is next to you giving you the thumbs up? Fucking hilarious. But hey, if you enjoyed Claire's story, and maybe you can even top it with a crazy story of your own, or you just want to tell me any story that's cross-dressing, sexuality, and or gender related, well, you know how to reach me. Email me, Giselle at CrossYaas Podcast.com, DM me on Instagram at CrossYaas Podcast, or let's just chat it up on our Discord, because, well, as you heard, it's an awesome community there. Hey, CrossYaas listener, I just want to thank you and just say thank you so much. I just want to say thank you so much for putting up with me, and I'm just glad to have you here. You help make the podcast what it is, and I love coming back every week, or at least I try to, and make episodes worth listening to. But that's all for this week's episode. Remember, when it comes to your cross-dressing, gender, and or your sexuality, no one cares. So do whatever you want and wear whatever you want within reason, and let me know what you need so I can help you succeed. And don't forget, if you're loving what you're hearing, imagine what it will do for someone else. So tell other people about this podcast. I'd love to help others not only with my story, but with other people's stories as well. And until next time, keep it fresh, stay blessed, and remember, you're gorgeous.